Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 47. I am super stoked today because we have got some exciting news. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number. We've got some exciting news to discuss. We've got a Battlefront 2 giveaway we're going to be talking about. I've also got some exciting news about upcoming stuff that's going to be coming over the next couple of weeks. So we're going to discuss all that here momentarily. But first and foremost, let me introduce my co-host, my esteemed colleague, and my brother from another mother, the golden chinchilla himself. Good old Maurice. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing swell. How you doing?
I'm doing better now. Now that we're live, I'm always a little, I'm a little on edge before the stream, but once we're going, I'm good to go. So, first, I guess we're gonna be taking a look right now at some footage of you accomplishing the mythic tier here. We just finished the mythic tier of the Palpatine event, so you're just kind of showing how you could do that with a Veer's lead, and now we're actually looking at some footage of you going through the assault battles event with the Night Sisters. So, I mean, you want to give us a little bit of insight as to how this team works well in this particular challenge?
Well, these Night Sisters are way overgeared, like for this event. But all you need, especially if you have a Saj, that Zeta on her leadership, you can march in there and beat it with any level Night Sisters, just as long as they're fast. Because the hard part is phase 4 when you got Sidious, and then the end with Nihilus. And you'll see here in this video, I'm using the 5 free-to-play Night Sisters, no Talisman, no Zombie. It's just the turn meter removal. They stay at pretty much full health all the time. It's pretty simple.
What would you say the minimum requirements are for this event? I mean, I understand that you're gonna you're clobbering this event, but for somebody who's, let's say, just starting to get their Night Sisters, farming zombie, farming, because some of these Night Sisters are harder to get, especially Mother Talzin. What's the level that you need to have them at where you can beat this event? I mean, you're doing it without a Mother Talzin, I see here, but if let's say the majority of people are going for Mother Talzin, what star level and gear level does she have to be at in order to complete this?
Oh, if you got Talzin, this is super easy, because the reason Sidious and Nihilus are so difficult in this event is they just have a massive protection pool, but their health pool is very small. So if you land a plague on them, that's lights out. I mean, but just with the 5 free to play or any of them, if you have that Zeta leadership on a Saj, you could probably march in there with gear 9, as long as they're fast. It's just like all you're doing is just the fast. It's just like the old Vader Soul of the Rancor concept. The faster your Empire are, the better, the quicker they go, and the quicker they remove turn meter. And Asajj's leadership removes turn meter, so you just go and go and go and go. You really don't even need the Zeta on it. It's just her basic leader ability removes the turn meter. That's all you need for 4 and 8. The rest of it's the cakewalk. The other waves, just the 4th and 8th are the tough ones.
Yeah, basically. Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like the real hard challenge of this is if you're going to get wiped out anywhere in this, it's going to probably be at that part where you're facing Darth Sidious, or it's going to be at the end when you're facing Darth Nihilus. So, I mean, Darth Sidious can put on a pretty big hurt, and especially with his AoE. And does he stack offense?
Yes, he does. Well, his leadership stacks offense. I'm not sure exactly how it works.
I remember
if this event was created before or after the rework. I'm not sure.
I did it. I did it the other day earlier today with my Night Sisters, and I mean, he almost wiped them all out. I mean, if I didn't have Mother Talzin lead, he would have wiped them all out. Mother Talzin just brought back half the Night Sisters, so I mean, it was okay. I ended up finishing the event with almost full health, but I mean, it was just that particular. I mean, his health pool is so enormous. So I mean, it's definitely a little bit challenging. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely not the hardest assault battles out of all of them. I mean, what would you say would be the most challenging one so far? I mean, to me,
that one we had over May the 4th, that ground war with the Jedi. That one was tough. That one was super tough.
Yeah.
I beat it, but it took me, I uploaded the video for it. 25 minutes it took me to beat that event with my Jedi.
Yeah,
It was silly.
I couldn't even beat that part with my Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn. I mean, maybe if I had spent a little bit more time like trying to get through it, I might have accomplished it. But the highest tier I wasn't able to beat. So
Well, a
next
lot has to do
time,
with the RNG in that. Like you have to have Grandmaster Yoda, and you have to have his tenacity up move like ready to fire as soon as
I figured with a Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn, a Zeta Hermit Yoda, like a Zeta Ezra, and I mean, with all the characters that I had in that, I would have breezed by. But it was very challenging. I mean, I think I only made it to like tier 4, tier 5, or something like that, and then I got wiped out. That was pretty bad.
But I did not. I remember when this
Wave
event
4,
first
wave
came out. I
5.
tried it with my Phoenix, and I could not beat it with the Phoenix. So I didn't try it this time. There's so much going on. I just wanted to get in there and get it done. But you can use the Phoenix as well. I mean, Asajj makes it so easy.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, as you finish up this round here, we're gonna be talking a little bit about what's coming up here soon with Solo and the movie and all that stuff. And uh, we don't have specifics that I can really share with the team as far as like when characters are coming out and all that. But I mean, I can tell you that I have a really good feeling that
Yes, master.
a version of Solo, a version of Lando Calrissian, a version of Chewie. I think we'll be seeing a version of I don't think Leia, but I think we'll be getting the other main characters that you're seeing in there. So we'll get a version of the whatever character. Uh, um, what's her name from Game of Thrones? Um,
No idea.
Amelia Clark. Amelia Clark is playing a character in the show, so in the movie. So I mean, whatever character she's playing, we'll see her, and I'm hoping that we'll see some version of some of these bounty hunters in there. So whether it's Bosk or maybe we'll see Embo, maybe we'll see an early version of Boba Fett. If we get that, I'd like to see some of those characters in there, and I'm hoping we do. But
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of ships as well. They're coming out with new PVE content. There's a new movie coming out. I bet there's going to be some sort of at least a couple ships to match with these new characters. So we'll see. We need them. We need some new ships. We need some new toys to play with in that department.
oh my goodness, I'm getting floored in the first round of Galactic War. These beta Galactic Wars are ridiculous. This is the first note of Galactic War. I'm on auto. I mean, I get that, but I mean, it's the first note of Galactic War. What's going on here? Let's retreat. Just kind of regroup and figure out what the heck. Oh, okay, that makes some sense. It's a game changer. Okay. All right, so I mean, I guess I can fight some of the game changers in Galactic War, but that's like an arena match. That's nuts.
This is straight up old school Titan team right there.
That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pick a different squad. Let's go with Imperial Troopers is gonna beat that team. Let's go with the First Order squad. See if they can do it. You think you get rid of Kylo Ren and go with First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter?
I would dump Kenobi and go with. Oh, are you just playing Galactic War yet?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm playing Galactic War against like a super team. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go with. Where is First Order Special Forces? Let's just look for First Order. Okay, so We'll go with First Order Officer, First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter. We'll just kind of see what happens here.
Well, you're gonna need a fast officer. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
This is like a this is, this is punishment. Okay,
Your
so
officer coming to the battle rocking about 270 speed. He is. I don't think he's gonna cut it.
okay, this doesn't dispel, right?
Do
Does
you
it?
remember when Galactic War used to be like this for real, like every day when we
When
first?
you used to have to throw Suicide Squads in there and stuff.
Oh yeah. Use
Yeah,
your whole roster. Got to save your Jedi Consular and your Barris and your Luminara. You got to use them wisely.
I remember. My goodness, this is the hardest first note of Galactic War I've ever seen in my life. You know, it should never be this hard. Imagine this was like regular Galactic. Thank God for the option to sim. But
Yeah.
okay, so
Some days I do miss the old Galactic War because you build a little team and you don't really have anywhere to test it unless you just want to embarrass yourself and throw it in an arena. And TW is not really a good practice ground because if you waste your whole roster, you kind of screw your guild.
yeah, this team is not going anywhere against this squad. I mean, Nihilus is definitely about to annihilate somebody pretty soon. There you go. Oh man, oh man, it's all just falling apart. Okay, regroup again. I'm gonna have to go in there with a team on equal ground here. I'm gonna have to have a pretty. I have to. I'm gonna have to like remod and stuff, you know. But let me go with a Treya squad. Let's see if that'll do it. But so, what do you think we're gonna see out of the movie? What do you think's coming?
Well, they already announced Han and Chewie, right? So they're coming.
Right.
I would be kind of
Didn't they change like this like the icon for the app and it shows like a picture of Lando?
at some point, yeah, you go to the App Store and you download it. They completely redid the icon. It was much different than the one I have on my phone. That's on my game. But yeah, it's got Childish Gambino on the cover with the new Han. Most of them are
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, it's showing the new Lando. So I mean, he's definitely going to be in there at some point.
I'd imagine we get a nice chunk of characters and probably staggered out over the next, I don't know, month or two maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe another little string of marquee events. Because Han and Chewie are probably gonna be marquee, and then they might have a ship that's a marquee as well, or maybe you need both of them. Maybe you need the whole gang of new characters for some legendary event coming up. I don't know. That's probably highly likely. Maybe that's how you get the new Lando is you have to have all the other Han Solo movie characters.
It'd be cool if they made some event for the movie. I mean, I'm excited for the movie nonetheless. But are you gonna go watch it?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go see it. I'm probably not gonna go opening weekend, but I will go see it.
Oh, I am. I'm just a fanboy. I can't resist. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like honestly, when I first heard the movie was coming, I wasn't super stoked about it, but the more I think about the possibilities and the different characters that could be in it, like especially, possibly, some of these bounty hunters, or I mean, the opportunity to maybe include some characters from the TV show Rebels. I don't know. I mean, again, will they? I'm not sure. I mean, but I feel like there's going to be at least an interesting cameo. There's such a deep universe that they've built now with these cartoons and with the comic books, and maybe we'll see Dr. Aphra. Like, I don't know. I mean, they have to have something. It can't just be just Han, Chewie, and like how they met. I mean, there has to be something else. I mean, I think we're gonna see what the Kessel Run looks like. I think. So that's kind of cool. Let me annihilate him first. But yeah, I think that's. I think we'll see what the Kessel Run looks like. We'll see um, what happened there to him and Chewie. I think from the commercials, what we saw where he's like, where it looks like he's like flying through a black hole. Like that's kind of. I think that's going to be it. I think this squad for the Sith here could be, one of the better squads. Although I did see a video that Warrior made today about a team that uses like part. It uses like Kylo Ren unmasked as a leader with First Order Stormtrooper, and then it has a Sith Triumvirate behind it. Did you see that video?
I saw he released it. I haven't gotten a chance to watch the video yet, but I did see the like the cover photo, the thumbnail had the Sith and Kylo on it.
I think the team looks pretty interesting. To be honest with you, I want to try them out here in a little bit. But I mean,
That'd be cool because I got the First Order guys done. I just need to finish Treya, so that's good news. If that's a legit team, I'm pretty much already done with it. So that'll be good. I'd love to use First Order Stormtrooper in Arena.
It would be cool. It'd be cool to have a reason to use First Order Stormtrooper for something. I put a Zeta on him, so I mean, it'd
Yeah,
be
I've
nice
got a Zeta on him too.
It'd be nice to have like a reason for that Zeta, besides like territory battles,
Yeah.
So we've defeated the first node in Galactic War. Let's see what the second node looks like. Oh my goodness! This is the hardest Galactic War of all time. It's because there's no other. There's only super juiced up rosters on this beta server. So it's like every Galactic War node is going to be super hard, But this is somewhat more beatable than the last one. I mean, this is just a First Order team, but I mean it's kind of interesting. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that it's definitely interesting to see like what's coming. I'm looking forward to the movie. I'm looking forward to whatever they release. But before we get into this battle, one of the things I wanted to discuss is I mentioned last week that we were going to be doing a contest for a free giveaway or a free download of Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I have codes for a version in PC, a version for Xbox One, and a version for PlayStation 4. So we're going to be picking 3 winners. Okay, so everybody's going to have an opportunity to enter this. I'm going to give you the details here. Okay, so what you want to do is, of course, you have to be subscribed to the channel. Yes, okay. I know it's a very tough thing to do, but I want you to be a fan, of course. You'd have to send an email to the ALLINCEGaming@outlook.com with your YouTube name and your console preference, whether it's PC, PlayStation, or Xbox One. And we're going to want all those entries in by 12 p.m. on Saturday the 19th. So by next Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, you're going to want to have that entry in by them with an email sent. It doesn't have to be very lengthy. Just give us your name and the system that you want it for, and of course any contact information would be preferable. But we're going to actually select the winners live on the show next week. So we'll be giving out 3 codes, so you guys can enter for 1 system per person, and definitely get your entries in over the next couple of days, and we'll pick the winners live on the show next week. So it'll be a lot of fun. You'll get to download the game, and I think for the Xbox and PS4 version, I also have an upgrade code as well. So that's pretty cool. Also, you can let me know what that's for. I think it's for maybe skins or something like that. So definitely stay tuned. I'll go over the information again before the end of the stream, but definitely get your entries in before next week. So let's go to. Just try to take a whacking on him. So we're getting another Han, huh? I mean, how many Hans do you think we'll finish with in this game by when it's all said and done? We're already gonna have
Well,
six, right?
they've run through a lot of them. I mean, there's, the other characters have to catch up first.
Do you
We
think
need
that?
six different Lukes and Leias, and six different Chewbacca's. I'm assuming we'll have a couple different Landos now.
Do you think
You
that's?
know,
Do you think this will be the last Han?
you'd think so, but who knows?
No, they have to have. They have to have. Fanny pack Han, and possibly, possibly impaled Han. With a sword through his chest. betrayed Han, or like zombie Han, where he comes back from the dead.
Oh boy.
Do you think that J.J. Abrams retcons everything that Ryan Johnson did in the Last Jedi? Do you think he basically just makes like brings Luke back to life?
Doubtful. I'm gonna go with doubtful on that.
I was hoping that you'd say yes, because I want that to happen so bad. For him to just be like, oh, Luke didn't really die. Luke just teleported somewhere. Like, just what the movie starts off like Luke just wakes up, and like he's on the remnants of the old Death Star. He just teleported there, or like he teleports to like Dagobah.
Yeah, but they have that plot twist in their pocket now. For a rainy day. I don't think it will be in the next movie, but maybe maybe down the line they might pull that one back out.
Like, oh, like he wasn't really dead. He just teleported. No, I mean that would be kind of cheesy, but uh, I hope it's more than meets the eye. I hope it's not just another like another way to find for Rey and Kylo to fight again. I hope it's like there's some deeper. I hope somebody comes back. Like I hope it's either Snoke is not dead or Luke's not dead, or I hope we find out some information, of some of those mysteries that were kind of set up in the first movie. But we'll see. Oh man, this Galactic War is tough. Okay.
Who are these people you're playing? Are they other game changers, or are they like developers?
These are other game changers. Some of them from other countries.
Oh, okay. Because I don't recognize any of the names you're playing.
Yeah, there's game changers in like in different countries around the world. Like they don't necessarily have as large as a following as some of the other game changers do, but they're just trying to cover the game in their country. So to kind of represent like maybe like Germany or Ukraine or any of these other countries that play the game. This is a global game, Maurice. This game's all over the place. People love Star Wars all over the world.
Oh yeah.
People need their Star Wars fix. Yeah.
Well, I'll be.
Yeah. All right. Let me see here. Let's do a little. Let's do a little action on the AAT raid.
Little Sith action on the tank, huh?
We'll do a little Sith action on the tank. But yeah, I mean again. I think we're at a point right now where there's not much going on as far as discussion is concerned for for updates. I mean, I know there's some small fixes that are coming out. I believe the other day they had mentioned there was like a State of the Galaxy or something like that where they had mentioned some information that we can go over here. Can you pull that up, Maurice?
Talk about the notes.
Yep. It wasn't notes. It was like I think Carrie put out like a State of the Galaxy where she was just kind of explaining like what to expect.
Yep, 5'11", 18.
What can we expect, Maurice?
Well, let's see here. Basically, she's just doing some housekeeping on outstanding issues. Follow up on beta tests. They're talking about expanding the beta program for greater input, but doing it, they're going to do it in a balanced way with a controlled environment that doesn't put anybody at risk for like game leaks or confusion, is what it's saying. There will be additional opportunities in the future if you're interested in joining the beta. Apparently, they're opening it up a little wider than it's been in the past.
Okay.
Um, uh, it talks about the last beta they did. They opened it up to a few new guilds. They're very happy with the participation and thanking everybody that participated. She touches on her communication plan, which has been a big. They've been stressing that in the forums for quite some time now. They've got a new community manager. His name's CGSB Crumb. He's new, but he's going to expect to come on into the forums. He'll be making posts soon. Um, there'll be times of increased communication and times of less communication, depending where they are in the development cycle. Um, we're talking about keeping a steady stream of information, not only on their forums but on Reddit, YouTube, and they're even reaching out on Discord. All sorts of stuff. I guess they're trying to branch out, not just specifically on the forums. On Reddit, if you do use Reddit, it's a lot different environment, but there is a little gold bar kind of on Reddit that says like developer response. So they are on Reddit. They are seeing your posts. They're replying to the post on there. At times, probably not as frequently as they are on their forums, but they will chime in time to time.
Well, there's been a request on Reddit, I think, for information to not only be released in like a video format with the game changers as such, as to be more released like there in like a text format so they can kind of read it and digest it differently. I mean, and they already have that in certain ways. I mean, I know that we have the guy from gamingfans.com who kind of does he does like a he has a website. So I mean, most he doesn't do he does a couple he does some videos, but I mean his main thing is putting out articles about the game. So I mean, if you want to digest it that way, there is that option there. So I mean, it's not you don't. There's all different ways for you to get the information. I mean, some people prefer it to be given to you, in a video format, or some people prefer it in a live show format. Some prefer it, via text. Just kind of have an opportunity to read it. I prefer to watch my information personally. So I mean, like for me, that's just the way I am about it. But everybody has their own preferences. So I guess they're going to try to just be more open to different avenues for people to consume their information, which is it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah. Well, it does. It shows a little flexibility. They're making an effort to come to us now instead of us come to them on the forums. I think that's a pretty good thing. Good for them. The rest of this is just the Sith raid, the P4 bug. Um, Basically apologizing, and they've looked into it. And they thank the guilds. I guess it's Beats and Rebel Force Indoor. I guess those are two players. They just provided tons of screenshots, and they ran raids, I guess, on CG's timetable so they could, the engineers could get there and take a look at it. And there's also something to do with certain time zones in the world. It says, as a result of extreme moves or other conditions that put a person 4 or more hours out of sync, please don't write support asking for a time zone change because you want a new payout. The service is offered for people who will be proving they live in a different location than their current time zone. So I guess maybe, let's say you're traveling, to Asia or something, and you open the game and you start playing it, and then you come back. I guess you'd be eligible to maybe get I guess it's going to be a shard change, or is it going to be a payout change? I'm not sure.
I think it's a payout change.
Okay, well
So,
that's cool then, because you do stay on the same
but it's
shard.
basically for somebody like maybe like you're in the military, right?
Yeah.
And like now you're in Japan or you're in China, or you're overseas, okay?
Hmm.
And for whatever reason, now your payout time is just it's at 6 a.m. for you or 4 a.m. for you, where you should be sleeping, and you don't have an opportunity to use your cell phone, and it's not really fair for you to be able to deal with it that way. So they're giving you like a one-time change in those circumstances, but I don't think it's something that will. I don't think it's something you'll be able to do multiple times. I mean, you'll have to have a reason for it, but at least we know it's possible. I mean, when we were first uh, playing this game, I mean, they had told us that it was impossible to change shards or arena times or anything like that. So, I mean, that's obviously not true. But I mean, at least we could see that they're open to doing it under special circumstances. But I'm assuming that if you're just changing your time because you don't like the people in your payout, they're probably not going to let you do that. So you're going to have a better reason than that.
Well, that guy, King Felix, he's on the Jedi Academy with you sometimes on Saturday mornings.
Yep.
I think he's American, but I think he's stationed over in Korea, right?
It's pretty much
So
the exact that for a guy like him is exactly why they're doing
yeah,
this. Yeah,
so
yeah,
I guess, and I think his time's almost up, so he should be eligible for that when he returns. So that would be cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, all right. Before I jump into this Sith rate, let's do the top. Let's do the meta report and the top five. So we're gonna go over there again. These are the details here for the Battlefront 2 giveaway. If you guys didn't get that email address, it's the Alliance Gaming at Outlook.com. Okay, and have that entry in by next Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So first, we're going to take a look at the meta report. So, top 10 leaders at rank 1. Emperor Palpatine is half the pie. Rex is a quarter of the pie, and Ray is about a quarter of the pie. There's just a very little sliver that includes Commander Luke Skywalker, Mother Talzin, Darth Traya, who's now seeing again a little bit more use, moving up the list. I mean, she was at I think she was at 9th place last week, and now she's moved up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place this week. So she moved up 3 spots. Pretty interesting. Okay, again, as Darth Traya becomes more and more attained or more available, you'll see her creep up more and more into the top 10 leaders at rank 1. I think eventually she will rival Palpatine, whether it's taking over the scene or kind of just taking away from his piece of the pie. I think you'll see Palpatine's sort of start to lower a little bit, and you'll see Traya raise a little bit, and it'll depend on who ends up being the more viable option long term. If Palpatine lead with Darth Traya as a squad member, then you'll see Darth Traya just pop up more on the top 10 squad members list, the next list that we're going to look at here momentarily. But I think that she's definitely going to be used heavily as a leader as well. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think a lot of people will probably have Traya before they have Scion finished, because Sion's not even farmable yet, and I think to really utilize that Traya lead, you're probably going to need a pretty tricked out Scion. So it's going to take you a while to get Traya and Scion both. So the people might rely on Palpatine, for the next few months until they get both of those characters ready to rock and roll. It will. I think it would, like you said, it'll be like kind of a slow trickle. Like we'll see it kind of slowly grow. And who knows? I mean, and it could be right now that people are just trying it out, and we find out 2-3 weeks from now that Palpatine is still the supreme leader, and it just goes right back to Palpatine, with Traya as a squad mate.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. I don't have Traya yet. It'll be a couple more raids before I can unlock her, so I'm looking forward to that. See what I can do with her.
I mean, other than that, Kylo Ren unmasked. Akbar seems to be slipping out of the top 10 entirely, and I mean that makes sense because you're seeing less and less Hermit Yoda teams, because I mean, really, you're not going to be able to do much. That you're not going to really be able to compete too much with a Hermit Yoda squad anymore with Akbar, especially as these more complex teams, take hold here. But definitely, definitely, again, not a huge change, but we're seeing some steady increase of usage for Darth Treya, and we're seeing Rex, kind of hold his place there, just ahead of Rey, as the counter to Palpatine with his tenacity up and turn meter manipulation. So that's definitely huge. But moving along, we're gonna look at the top 10 squad members. And, I mean, not a huge surprise. Grand Admiral Thrawn is still at the top of the list as probably the most heavily used squad member in Palpatine squads. And Darth Nihilus right behind him. Emperor Palpatine, obviously, is a squad member in those teams. I mean, he's somebody also who can be used in a lot of different squads, too. I mean, if you're using, let's say, a Grand Admiral Thrawn lead, you can run Emperor Palpatine in that squad for sure. And General Kenobi. Seems like General Kenobi's slipping down a little bit. And, Darth Sion's up there, Darth Vader. But you got to go all the way from rank 1 to rank 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 before you get your first Rebel in R2-D2. And then Rex behind him with Rey Jedi Training and BB-8 at now rank 10. So it seems like more and more every day, these Rey Jedi training teams are kind of getting bumped to the wayside for Emperor Palpatine squads, and it's showing in the meta report for sure. I mean, again, not a huge shakeup here, but I think we're seeing a little bit less Kenobi than we're used to, and again, a lot more, Palpatine, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Nihilus, Vader, and Darth Sion.
Yeah. I think Kenobi's going to keep slipping too. He really will.
I think eventually, I think Kenobi's time is close. I mean, he's been a meta character now for so long. I know Rex is still a meta character, and they've done nothing to him since he was created, which is ridiculous because he was created way before Kenobi. So I mean, Rex is just holding tough with his original old school kit. But yeah, I think they're going to have to do something to Kenobi eventually for him to stay relevant in the meta at some point. I mean, he's still
he's always going to be relevant. I think this meta in particular is just kind of anti-Kenobi. I mean, all you have to do is shock him, then he can't taunt, and he's just melting because it harms Jedi so much.
He'll always be the best one of the best tanks in the game. But I'm saying the thing is he's got he's got like he does everything, right? He does everything. But yeah, I mean, especially with the kits that are out now, I just feel like eventually, he will slip to more of like a middle tier type player, and that's something that he shouldn't be. So I think eventually he'll get that Zeta, and when he does, he'll become absolutely bonkers again, at some point. But I mean, he's been an animal. So he's still top 5 here. He's top 4 actually. So he's not slipping off the charts yet. He's just slipping out of the top. I think he was in the top 3, and he may have dropped a spot here. So that's about it. But no need to fret yet. I mean, just kind of an observation. But let's move on to the top 5. And it's actually pretty relevant because the top 5 this week is top 5 taunting tanks. And I know what you're going to say. Ramon, we've already done top 5 taunting tanks. But you know what I say? So what? It's time to do it again. Okay? Because it's been 6 months, actually, 7 months, actually, since we did top 5 taunting tanks last. And the game has changed a little bit. So we have some new tanks. We have some interesting things to discuss. So let's look at the top 5 taunting tanks of May 2018. So, um, what's gonna start us off here at number five, Maurice?
Number five is one of the characters that came out in the past few months. It's Holdo. Holdo makes the top five. She's still kind of unobtainable for most of the player base. They just put her in the hard node. But now that everybody has a chance to get her, and they have 8 chances a day to get her shards, you will start to see an increase in Holdo, especially in TW. She's a very useful TW character. You can either put, a lot of people are using Ray on defense. You can put her on those Ray teams to kind of keep the health pools flowing and keep everybody healthy. Try to shake some of that plague from the Night Sisters, or you can use her on offense. If you want to use like your Scavenger Ray on your Ray team, you can use Holdo as the 5th on like a Finn resistance team, and she works well because she's got the AOE days that can just pop all opposed exposes, and the whole team just goes nuts. So she's a very useful character. Not your traditional tank. She's very, very slow. She doesn't take much of a beating. She's not the most durable tank. Her armor is kind of laughably. It's pretty laughable for armor, but she has lots of any character with an AOE days is phenomenal, and she definitely has that. And she's in one of the largest factions in the game, so she's always going to have a use. Very, very good character. Potential possibly for some sort of capital ship in the future, maybe.
I mean,
perhaps.
Yeah, her special attack can be she could just fly right into the other ship and destroy it, yeah, with just light speed attack, where she kind of like Imperial Probe Droid, like a self destruct, yeah. Well, I mean, she's got. I mean, I'm not saying that the Resistance faction doesn't have other good tanks. I mean, Poe is a good tank, but I think that she really adds an element. Especially with her foresight and her taunt that you don't have in the Resistance right now, and she makes a great addition to a Ray Jedi training team, especially for territory wars. And she's a dispel, and she helps with protection regeneration. On top of that, again, she adds with the foresight, and she has. While she doesn't have taunt, she adds plus 50 speed. She has plus 50 speed, and all other Resistance allies have plus 20 crit avoidance. So she helps, kind of with the, to kind of deter some of those critical attacks and critical hits. So, I mean, for a Ray Jedi training team that already is tough to get at because of all the foresight, because Ray does what she does, I mean, Amlin Holdo just complements that team very well. And in addition to that, I mean, she's not the tankiest character in the game. She doesn't have the biggest health pool. But if you mod her correctly, and you put her in the right composition, let's say with a Ray Jedi training, R2D2, BB-8, and maybe a chopper, or maybe a resistance trooper. All modded well. That could be a top-notch arena team and a top-notch defensive team for territory wars, and one that's definitely, if modded correctly, going to hold for several battles in territory wars, especially if you don't have the right counter team for it. So, can be as a deceptively good character. I think probably the best hard node form that we've gotten, since probably Darth Nihilus. So. I think that I mean, she's kind of an underrated character in my opinion. She's got a lot of utility, and she's great, especially for one of the more dominant teams in the game right now, for sure. So that's my opinion on her. But moving along, that's our number 5 best tank in the game right now. Our number 4 best tank in the game right now. Who is it, Maurice?
It's Night Sister Zombie.
Oh,
another new addition to the.
This is your girl. This is your girl. So why Night Sister Zombie, Maurice? It's your home girl.
She is really the secret weapon in any Night Sister team, and she really is high gear, low gear, whatever you prefer. It doesn't matter. She just pairs well with the team, protects the whole team. She can survive, annihilate. Just fantastic, and you're seeing people getting close to 9, 10 million in P4 with their Night Sisters now. And I mean, you can't do it without Night Sister Zombie. You just can't do it. Just a great character. Very, very easy to gear. Can use, you don't need her 7-star. I mean, if you want to run a squishy zombie, you might as well, 3 stars perfect. So,
Yeah.
She is a hard node, but you can get her going and you can use her while you develop her. Like that's what's cool. Like a lot of these characters, like especially like in a hard node, like Rose is a hard node. There's no way you could even think about using her in any scenario unless she was like 7-star. And even then it's debatable. But this character is one you can use right away as soon as you unlock her.
Yeah, Rose is for posting 0 in Galactic in a raid. That's what Rose is for.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. Night Sister Zombie is definitely a great addition to a Night Sister squad. I think probably one of the most important additions to a Night Sister squad, especially if you want to do high damage in this Sith raid. Now you're actually just made a video about this a few days ago. What's the preference here with her in the raid? Is it better to have her undergeared or overgeared?
Oh, under for the raid, undergeared. The guy that lent us all the footage, his name is Mecha Rogue, and I think his zombie was blue gear. I think it might have been gear 5 or 6. So I mean, she's dying, and Asajj's damage just going crazy. He's hitting 6 digits towards the end. It's crazy. But you can get 5 million if you're patient and know the mechanics. You could probably get closer to 6 even with a gear 12 zombie. It's just going to take a lot of practice and just playing around with it. Very good character, very fun character.
Well,
to run.
I mean, she deals tenacity down with her basic, which is a great debuff. Especially considering the faction that she's on, where the Night Sisters are very debuff centric. I mean, they're kind of all about debuffs. So plague and she also adds that element of protection because of the fact that she not only is, especially if she's undergeared, she'll be constantly dying. She'll be constantly stacking. Let's say depending on the leader that you have with Asajj Ventress, is it that she stack offense or does she stack turn meter?
Asajj Ventress.
Yeah.
No, she just stacks the offense and stacks crit chance.
Right.
She gets 35% turn meter whenever a character dies. And if zombies just dying and dying and dying, Asajj is just going and going and going.
Right. So the turn meter manipulation is great because of zombie and I mean the taunt helps protect characters like for example Night Sister Acolyte. So I mean there's times in arena where I have a zombie out there and just because zombie keeps dying and they can't get to Night Sister Acolyte because she's stealthed, I have a chance to revive my allies and take the match back even if it looks like things aren't really working in my way. You can still turn the tide of the match with with some luck. So she's definitely a great addition.
Well, yeah, months ago, we kind of talked about that Newt Gunray team where you just use like Newt Gunray and all your stealth characters, Acolyte included, and Night Sister Zombie, and like Night Sister Zombie just sits there and takes all the damage while everybody in stealth just goes nuts. You can still every once in a while sneak that in like a TW, and knock out maybe a weaker CLS team, or it's still it's kind of a cheesy trick, but it's in the game,
sure.
So you can use it, I guess, if you want, but it's cool. She just adds a lot of new things to like you can't really get her kit out of what she provides. Nothing else in the game. She's very unique.
Exactly. All right, moving along to number 3 taunting tank in the game, and that's going to be none other than Kylo Ren Unmasked. Why do we put him here?
I think he moved up a slot or two the last time we did it. He is something else. He is incredible. He is the centerpiece for the First Order faction. You have to have Kylo if you want a top-notch team. He's got tenacity down his basic. He can pre-taunt with the Zeta. He taunts whenever he hits a debuffed opponent. And, all these First Order give debuffs. He does debuffs himself. He's got a 2-turn stun, which dispels an enemy. That's unheard of. That's a great move. And then he taunts afterwards. He's just got all this stuff in his kit. He's got regenerating health whenever you hit him. Just just incredible tank. If modded properly, he is a real pain. And then you've seen a lot of people really favor First Order on defense in TW because of Kylo Ren and what he brings to any match. And a lot of people are using him with these Rex teams now currently in the arena. He's their, the Rex Wampa Kylo Ren Talzin teams that you guys probably see a lot of. He's a centerpiece in that. You talked earlier, Warrior put out that video, you said, with the Sith and Kylo Ren together. So he makes the First Order team because he has so many uses outside as well. His ship is phenomenal. Just and it's a great value. You get him and his ship on a 10 energy node in Cantina. You cannot beat that for one of the best characters in the game. I mean, he's definitely one of the very first characters I would recommend to somebody newer playing the game.
Plus, he's super easily attainable. I mean, he's attainable outside of the in the Cantina nodes, and his ship is also fantastic. So. And you can get his ship and him from the same node, which is something that's kind of a rarity in this game. So, I mean, you can get a 7-star Kylo Ren on Mass and a 7-star TIE Silencer together in just a matter of a couple weeks. And, just like Maurice said a moment ago, I mean, he's not just a great addition to a First Order squad. He's definitely a utility character that can be used in other teams. He's a taunting character. He's got Retribution. He's not as high of a damage dealer as, let's say, your Commander Luke Skywalker, but I mean, who really is, right? So he's got a stun. He's got the ability to I'm sorry. He's got the ability to dispel. So he dispels targets and he sticks tenacity down on targets for two turns, which is great. And I mean, his leader ability is just phenomenal. So for First Order allies, he gives plus 40% critical damage, plus 30 speed, which is unprecedented. That's basically like a Qui-Gon Jinn leader matched with a Boba Fett leader all in one, which is like what you're looking for in this game. What I mean? Like, so I mean, it's really awesome. I think if there were some better First Order characters, he would be probably on top of the list in Arena. If you had, like, let's say, Supreme Leader Snoke in this game and he was, like, super awesome character, I think it'd be totally different. I think that the First Order lacks some depth, and that's really why you don't see them at the top of the charts all the time. There's just something that's missing. But overall, just a great tank and a great character in the game for sure. But moving along to number 2. Our number 2 taunting tank in the game is Darth Scion, a new addition. So
yes, so this is why we redid it. 3 of the top 5 are now different than they were, 7 months ago. And this guy is really something else. I've had him for a while. I got super, super lucky in one of those packs and pulled a real big one. So I've had him pretty well, finished for quite some time. Great character, and I really was kind of on the fence about him until I put that Zeta on him. That his Zeta, if you're leveling Darth Scion, you have to have a Zeta ready for him. Otherwise, he's very average. But with the Zeta, he's just outstanding. He's just great character. Passive taunt, which is always good. You don't have to use a turn to taunt. So a lot of these characters, Night Sister Zombie, Scion, Kylo Ren, all have passive taunts in their kit, and just it's great because you drop the pain on the whole team. Every move in this kit has pain, and every character that's inflicted with pain, they're forced to hit him. And when they hit him with the Zeta, it reduces his cooldown for Held by Hatred, and he just turns into a monster. You can one-shot Palpatine once you have Held by Hatred on. Just one-shot him with this special move. He's incredible. He does a lot of damage for a tank. He's got stacking defense and tenacity when he's Held by Hatred. All sorts of goodness. A little bit of crit chance or counter in his kit. Just tons and tons of uses. And you see him now. He's starting to slowly trickle his way into the Rex teams as well. Just be a real nightmare. And you have to kind of take care of him. You have to plan around him. Like, you have to bring a Thrawn to fracture. You have to bring somebody to stun him. You have to stop him, or he's just unstoppable. Like, on an arena, I've cleared out teams with, like, the old school Kylo Ren. I've cleaned out 3-4 characters with Scion, just like we used to with the Zeta Kylo Ren. Very similar. Just he is the meta, and Trey is only going to make him better. So, if we do this again in 7 months, he might be the clear cut number one. Who knows? Who knows what's coming? But
He might be. He's got pretty much everything in the game. I mean, his bringing a new debuff into the game with pain, and he's got a a ton of abilities actually. Like if you look at his his abilities in the game, I mean he's got four different types of either attacks or moves, which is kind of unprecedented. I mean, there's really no other character that has that many, right? I mean, he has. I mean, I know that there's. I know that, like, for example, I believe Luke Skywalker has six, right? But that's because he has a leader ability and, two uniques. I don't really know of any other character that has four attacks or four abilities in the game, right? Like four actual options you can choose at the bottom of the screen.
yeah,
So that's kind of interesting. And I mean, he's also yes, he's got a passive taunt, which is something that you can't say enough about. He's got a ton of damage, especially after he's sort of enraged, or he's got a he's got this stacking damage. He just deals 100% more damage if the target ally has pain. And he also recovers protection. So there's protection manipulation. There's increased damage. He does an area of effect attack, and he does sort of a knock you out kind of attack with his breaking will or break will. And yeah, I mean he inflicts pain for 3 turns with his basic, and he's just all around. He's just a great character, a great addition to a Sith squad, and could possibly. Be in the meta for quite some time now, especially as more and more people get Traya. So if you don't have Darth Sion yet, I would definitely start to look into either farming him from the shipments with your daily payouts from Arena. Occasionally he's in there for a few shards for, let's say, 300 crystals. So that's a worth it purchase, I think, just to kind of help you get a little bit ahead while you can, depending on where he gets dropped. Again, if he gets dropped in a Cantina node, it won't be a big deal. He'll just be farmable. But if he doesn't and he gets put into a hard node, you'll definitely appreciate cheating a little bit now while you can. So, yeah, a great addition to a Sith squad, and really could be a great addition to any squad, moving forward as we get more and more characters. And, especially next year, if they add another Sith to the game like they have over the last 2 years, where last year they added Nihilus, this year they're adding Traya, Sion. Maybe next year, who knows, fingers crossed, we get Darth Revan, and this could be just, one, big piece, one big Sith party, and he could be right at the center of it, so.
yeah. If the AI played him properly, he would be number one. It's just the AI on defense. He'll do held by hatred, and he'll accumulate another stack of it, and the AI will just pop it, even though it's already popped. Like if you use held by hatred and you die, if the AI would actually save it for when he revived himself, I mean, he'd be a nightmare on defense, So,
but that's pretty much the story with a lot of characters in this game. I mean, if there was good defense on, for example, with some of the for example, the Rey Jedi training teams. Like if, let's say, you could set it so that Rey Jedi training always called BB-8 for assist, and then, like I said, I've discussed this with you many times. Let's say you used Ezra Bridger on that squad and had him call BB-8 for assist all the time. I mean, it would be just a nonstop, I mean, they would just be going all over the place, and it'd be very difficult to defend, to beat that team. But that's just not going to happen. She's going to call R2D2 sometimes into assist. She's going to call other people into assist, and it defeats the with the Zeta on BB-8. It really doesn't make any sense. But I don't know if there's any way for them to fix that mechanic. Maybe one day they'll fix a way for you to kind of pick which characters you want to be chosen for what abilities. Maybe as they do quality of life improvements, that'll be something that happens down the road. But I think that, yeah, I mean, obviously, there's definitely several teams out there that could be super dominant, especially this one, if the defense operated correctly, for sure. That's therein lies the problem with all of Arena at the moment. But yeah, that's our number 2 taunting tank, Darth Scion. Let's move on to our number 1 taunting tank, and it's not going to be a huge surprise. We were just talking about him a little bit earlier.
Gamorrean Guard.
Gamorrean Guard. General Kenobi. Gen Ken.
Oh man, what a shocker.
Gen Ken. Yeah, I mean, I think that's he's, like we said, he's definitely slipping down in the top 5, but I mean, he's still the top tank in the game, and you can't deny that. I mean, he can go into any team. He dispels. He, brings retribution. He calls allies to assist that are buffed. He has crit immunity that he sticks on random allies, and he's also got a a passive taunt. So it's one of those things where if you crit somebody, he's going to taunt and take you away from them. So I mean, if you're trying to protect a character, I mean, he's ideal because when that character's taking any damage, Kenobi will be there to save them or protect them, and that's kind of what Kenobi is as a character in the lore and in the story. So it suits him. It suits him greatly, and he's also a great addition to a clone team, a Jedi team. But really, you can use him in anything. I mean, that's why you see him at the top of the meta report every week, and it's because you can use him in a Palpatine team, you can use him in a Rey Jedi training team, you can use him in all these different squads, and he's still a good substitute for almost any other team out there. If you have a team that's lacking a good tank, throw in General Kenobi and he'll get the job done. That's just the way it's been for him since he's been created, or since he's come into the game.
Yeah, and if you guys are if you haven't unlocked Kenobi, like if you're a newer player, or, in a up and coming guild, if you haven't unlocked Kenobi, you need to look at SWGOH.gg and go ahead and start preparing. Like if you're halfway, I would start now and just start preparing the gear for him. So when you unlock him, you can just take him all the way up, and it'll be done. He is a pain to gear, but it is worth every carboni. It's just just one of the best characters in the game. He should be a priority.
Yeah, with Rex, I'd go ahead and say he's probably one of the top 3 kits that were ever created in this game from scratch. I mean, without reworks or anything, just a character that was built basically to perfection right from the start. So he's really just still a great addition to any squad, and we don't see him falling out of the meta entirely anytime soon. So, I mean, if you don't have your Kenobi, like Maurice said, you should definitely be preparing to gear him up whenever you do get him, because he'll be an instant plug and play in any team or any game mode in this game. So, that's the top 5. Now, our honorable mention this week is actually a new addition to the game, Bosky.
Hello, Bosk.
Hi, Bosk.
He very well he might be a top 5 tank now. I currently haven't really played with him. You've played with him on the beta a little bit, but the verdict's still out on how good him and the Bounty Hunter faction really is. So we'll have to see. He might make a little bump up. He might fall off the list altogether. Who knows?
I can't think of anybody that he would replace on the list right now. I mean, I can't think of him replacing even Amilyn Haldo. I think would be ahead of him right now. But that may change. Again, we are also adding some more characters over the next few weeks, especially with the movie. Some characters that may be related to his faction specifically. Maybe scoundrels, or maybe we get another bounty hunter. Who knows? And if that happens, that may just increase his viability a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
But definitely a great character all around. And that's the top 5 taunting tanks, courtesy of the Alliance. Good old Maurice, thank you very much. We'll be back next week with another top 5 as usual. Let's get back into some gameplay here. Now, if you guys have any questions that you'd like to have asked on the stream, or any topics that you'd like to discuss specifically, now is the time to type those topics into the questions, so we can start to discuss those topics and questions as we wrap up the show here. And just let's go into that Sith raid again. I'll start to do some battles. Do we have any questions from earlier in the stream, Maurice?
Yeah, we've got a few. The first came from Chrome Krober with something to do with the med pack. Here it is. I guess Chrome Krober has a med pack he's wanting to put on a character, and his question is: should he put it on Starks, Daka, or Veers?
Mm. Well, that really depends. I mean, Stark and Veers are pretty important for dark side territory battles. Daka is super squishy. I mean, it depends on what squad you're running in arena right now. Like if you're running Night Sister squad, or or using a Night Sister squad to get through some of your battles and territory battles. Let's say you're further away from getting your Imperial troopers together, then I would say go with Daka. But if you're not anywhere near that with your Imperial troopers, I'm sorry, or if you're not anywhere near that with your Night Sisters, then which I don't think you'd be asking about Daka if you weren't close with your Night Sisters, but if you're not, then I would go with the Imperial troopers. I'd probably go with Veers first. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Maurice?
Well, like you said, whatever faction's closer. I think if I just have to blindly choose one of these characters, it doesn't matter on the other supporting characters, I would say Daka. But I don't know. The troopers, once you get them up and running, you really figure them out. They go, and it's like in a TB or even in the raid where you have some little minions on the side to kind of fuel the turn meter under Veers. They just seem to go and go and go, and then they just don't stop. Daka is the main healer in that Night Sister team. You can't go wrong with any of them. I would say, yeah, Daka. Just blindly Daka.
I knew you were going to say Daka.
No, of course I am, but like I was trying to talk myself out of it. I was trying to be unbiased, but
I knew you were going to say Daka. But I mean, yeah, no, I have to agree with you though. I mean, again, if you have a developed Night Sister squad, I think they're more important in this game than the Imperial Troopers right now overall. Even though the Imperial Troopers are an important part of dark side territory battles, Night Sisters will help you in territory wars, arena, a lot of different other areas of the game, and they'll also help you in dark side territory battles. So I would say they're definitely super important. And Daka, that is super squishy, which I mean, even with that, she's going to still be pretty squishy. Oh no. Okay, Annihilate is up.
All right, well, you play. I was just checking out what you were doing. My bad. All right, Keyboard's got the next question here. Another who to put a Zeta on here. Zeta on Plague Bearer on Talzin, Zeta Han shoot first, or Zeta Jedi training Rey when she has her unlocked. So Talzin's Plague Bearer, Han shoot first, or I guess it's going to be the leadership on Rey.
So repeat the question again.
The answer is Han. it's Talzin's Plague Bearer, Han shoot first, or Jedi training Rey's leadership.
Oh, Han for sure.
Yeah.
Han's ability, his Zeta literally makes him an entirely different person. I mean, he goes from being like an absolutely useless character to being an absolute beast of a character. So I mean, I would say for sure, and I mean, he becomes somebody that is just an offensive nightmare. I mean, a defensive nightmare. Oh my god, that was bad. Man.
Yeah, it's pretty. Like once you put that Zeta on him, he is pretty much the highest single target DPS character in the game. Just so much damage.
Pretty much, yeah.
So much. He's got a counter in his kit, so he's countering with double tap. It's definitely do that one first. All three of those are very good options. You will want that lead I guess you don't quite have Jedi Training Ray unlocked, but when she comes back, or you will want to have a Zeta ready for her as well. So I would do Han now. Pull the trigger on Han right now. You won't be disappointed. She's got another question that says, "What ability do you think a Zeta GK will have?"
Hmm.
So if we look at his kit, he needs a Zeta on what? He's got an empty slot on his leadership, and then I think one of his uniques as well, doesn't he?
Yep.
Well, the leadership, I don't really know what you do to that. You know, the kits are getting more and more complex, but let's have a look. I guess you could add even more defense and maybe negates or maybe take off the damage penalty on the assists. Maybe like when a character does the healing move, everyone assists. Maybe you take off the damage penalty on that, which would be disgusting. That would be gross. I guess the other one is his foresight ability is the one that still has an empty slot. I'm not really sure what you would do with that. 65% chance to gain foresight for 2 turns. Whenever an ally is critically hit, if Kenobi is alive, they get the crit immunity you were talking about earlier. Maybe along with crit hit immunity, they give you like a heal over time, or just automatically heal a certain amount of health, perhaps. Maybe a healing element stacked with that crit hit immunity. Or maybe even tenacity. Oh, that would be gross. If you get crit hits and tenacity up, that would be pretty nasty. Something like that. So he really doesn't need too much, but at the same time, you don't want to put a lane Zeta on GK. You can't just put like an extra 20% defense on its leadership ability or something. It's got to be a pretty snazzy one. So that's something they have in their pocket for later if needed.
I felt like I did a lot more damage than 73k damage. That was horrible.
Drac Knight puts he taunts forever. Yeah. Gussie keeps asking about the shard change you guys were talking about. How does he apply for it?
I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to contact customer support, and then they'll have to reach out to the developer. So it's not something that's going to happen probably instantaneously. I mean, you may have to get you may have to put like a ticket in, submit a ticket, and then it'll be a situation where you'll probably get contacted about it maybe a couple of days later. So they'll probably ask you for like an email address and your account number. So I would have that really long number, that account number that's available only up here. Like, so for example, if you go in here, this number you see at the bottom, player ID, like that's the number you're going to want to have available for them, so that they can move your your account over. So I think that's probably the path. But I don't think it's something that you're gonna like make a phone call and then 15 minutes later it'll be like in a different payout. I think it'll be something that has to be done internally. But you'll probably speak to a customer service rep who can kind of get the ball rolling for you.
Yeah, many moons ago, I applied for like a name change in the guild, and like you said, you have to have your player ID and also your ally code, and then you're probably going to need the email that you have your account signed up on. I think that's the bits of information: the email for the login, the player ID, and the ally code. I think is what I needed. and they've got. I'm not sure if this is something that has to go through the higher ups, but they do have a live chat. That's the one I would recommend doing, because it was the easiest. There's calling on the phone, and that it's a lot easier to just type to somebody on the internet. They fix it. They're pretty good with the live chat. I've never dealt with them over the phone or exchanged emails back and forth. I've never dealt with any of that. So let's see. Okay, Master just asked a question. Uh-oh is right. All right, let me try to. This is a mouthful. Since I don't have JTR unlocked yet, who should I G12 first? Resistance Trooper or First Order Stormtrooper? I'm thinking First Order Stormtrooper because my command shuttle would be Max, since Kylo Mast already G12. So basically, should he G12 Resistance Trooper or First Order Stormtrooper first? If you're thinking about Gear 12ing First Order Stormtrooper just for the ship, at this point in the game, who knows what reworks come, in a few weeks' time here, but I would say Resistance Trooper. Resistance Trooper is pretty good. He's not only in this Jedi Training Ray team, but you could use him in your Finn team. Just a great character. If you're ever making an all Resistance team, Resistance Trooper is almost always going to be on that team. He just the great character, and he's not too terrible to gear up to Gear 11. To get to Gear 12, I think it is kind of a pain. He was one of the first ones I did actually. So, and especially he gets a lot of really, really clutch pieces at Gear 12. I think he gets like the 3 best pieces. I think he gets a bayonet, a multi-tool, and a med pack. So his stats really get a massive boost even at Gear 12 with the additional pieces. So,
well, he's in the I think Kylo, I know, is still in the process of like trying to get his. He's going to get Rey Jedi training at the next time she drops. So I would just get prepared for that, bro. Just work on, getting work on getting Resistance Trooper ready, so that when that time comes, you're able to just plug and play basically. Because Rey will still be relevant at that time. I mean, Rey's going to be still a meta character for quite some time. So I would say yeah. I'd say Resistance Trooper. Because I remember him telling me that his Kylo Ren unmasked is still like Gear 9 or Gear 10 or something like that. So you're definitely you're definitely probably a ways from a full First Order squad, and even if you had a full First Order squad, it's not as good as a Rey Jedi training team. So
yeah,
that's just the way it is.
But again, if for some miracle happens to Kylo's shuttle where they rework the ships and kind of tweak them,
right?
Who knows? I mean, that ship right now, I don't care much for at all. And I've got 2 Zetas in that ship, and the old Kylo and First Order Stormtrooper, and I still not a huge fan of that ship at all.
Yeah.
All right. Artorias Drak Knights. Any prospects for the next non-Jedi legendary tune?
Non-Jedi legendary tune.
Yeah, like what's the next legendary event going to be?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think Darth Revan.
Darth Revan, huh?
I don't think it'll be this year. I think it'll be next year. But I think it'll be Darth Revan, or maybe it'll be. It could be. It could be another bounty hunter. Could be like Jango Fett. It could be Supreme Leader Snoke. Maybe the next legendary character is a ship.
That's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
That could very well be that's a good thought.
Yeah.
It could be a ship. It could be, it could be like the Millennium Falcon, and you have to have the new Han and Chewie, perhaps. But that's probably a few months down the line. But
I think with this, I mean, we could see that there's already a different version of the Millennium Falcon that's in the movie, right? Like, I mean, it's like a closed. Yeah. It's got like a closed front instead of the traditional design. So it's like obviously something happened. The ship's going to be like brand new in the movie, and then I guess they kind of tinkered with it. But I think that we're going to get another version of the Millennium Falcon probably pretty soon. So it'll be like a young maybe like a solo Millennium Falcon or whatever they call it. You know what I mean? But we'll get it, and I think it's definitely interesting that the rework to ships with like the 3v3 ships is happening like right around now. So they're going to kind of revamp that. So I mean, I don't know. I would say yes, and it would be kind of interesting to see a legendary ship for sure, and the Millennium Falcon would make sense. We have most of the other ships in the game, especially the iconic ships. We do not have like a Han Solo captained Millennium Falcon, which is still lacking. So I'm sure that'll be something at some point.
All right, we got one more here. Master Kylo asks another question. He says, if we've seen the counter team on offense versus Traya, the Wigs team, the the old school meta coming back. Wedge Biggs, CLS R2, and Han. I think Cubs fan Han and Arnold both put out a video on it pretty much at the exact same time the last couple days. Basically, just old rebels just in there just mowing down Empire characters. Like it's going to work on offense, but you better take that team out overnight, or you were going to just tank it. I mean, you're not running any tank on that team, and B, the AI. I mean, that whole team is predicated on Han stunning the proper person, and Han comes in and like stuns the Sith trooper. Like that's not going to do you any good, So
yeah, right. There's a difference between the way a team plays on offense and the way a team plays on defense. I don't think that.
But I mean, if you're having trouble climbing, and you start the day in the 50s anyway, and you can use this team to climb up, to the top 20, top 10 even, and then if you just sink all the way back down to the top 50, you might as well. I mean, give it a shot. I mean, it's at least it's very, on my shard anyway. It's an older shard. It's very difficult to fall below the bottom 50 anymore, just because there's not that many active players anymore. So like if you're falling and you find yourself capping out 50 to 100, 100 to 200, wherever it is. I mean, if you could jump a couple gaps just using a pure offensive team and just fall back anyway, it's a win. So maybe those are characters the majority of the player base that's played over 8 months a year has. So
I agree. But I mean, it's
Gussie asked, Keyboard asked the question first. What version of the Millennium Falcon would you like to see first? The original one or the one in Solo?
The original one, of course. I mean,
well, yeah, me too. But the question of which one we will see is more than likely the one in Solo.
I mean, I think we will see the Solo one first. But
especially since Han and Chewie are coming out like first, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think it's pretty much a given that that's what's happening. But I would love to see the original Millennium Falcon with Raid Han and there'll have to be another version of Chewie. I don't think that'll happen until we get like Chewbacca.
You're back now. I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, but I think Raid Han, is there, but we're still missing the Chewbacca to kind of make that ship work. So I mean, whenever they release Chewie, it'll probably be right after that we'll see, and maybe Chewie will be that a legendary character at some point too. Maybe that like Chewbacca, that just regular Chewbacca will be like a legendary character at some point too. That'd be kind of cool. That would make sense.
That's not out of the realm of possibility, because they are giving away Raid Han now in the monthly login. The past couple months, it's been kind of hit and miss on if those characters mean anything with the whole Stormtrooper Han debacle. I think last month was Greedo, right? Wasn't it Greedo last month?
Yep.
So and then there was a Bounty Hunter rework, so maybe Raid Han as the login character is signifying something like that. That's actually not.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. That's for sure.
No. Yeah. So we'll see. Let's see. Gussie asked another one here. Would you recommend running Night Sisters and Dark Side TB? And if so, what gear levels do they need to be to clear 4/4 waves in all 6 phases? Yes. Night Sisters and First Order are both great teams to run. The Night Sisters aren't going to require as much of an investment, though. You want that Zeta lead. You don't even really need the Zeta. Just Zeta Asajj, and you can pretty much run through the whole Dark Side TB. It's tough to do with the 5 free-to-play in P6. Not saying it can't be done, but it's difficult. So you are probably going to want Zombie or Talzin. But if you get Zombie or Talzin, there's a good chance you'll be throwing them in the platoons anyway. So they're a lock for the first 5 phases. For probably gear 10, for phase 5 plus. But you can get through the first 4 phases with gear 8, gear 9 Night Sisters if you have Asajj. You have some decent speed on them. So they're just a great PvE team. Probably, I'd say they're probably the best PvE team right now. Just for the raids, for TB, they're really, really good. You're gonna want them.
Yeah, for sure. Is that the
Yeah, that's the last one. Yeah.
that's the last question?
Hmm.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody sticking it out with us. You know, I was a little sick the last couple of days, and I've been kind of under the weather here tonight too. But I wanted to make sure that we streamed again this week, and I got out that information to you guys about the contest. So again, I'm going to post that up here on the screen so you guys can see. Um, the drawing will be next week on next week's live show, which will be on Sunday. Again, we'll probably be airing around 11 midnight to midnight next Sunday, maybe between midnight and 1 o'clock. So stay tuned for that. If you guys missed the show for any reason, you can watch the replay. You know, we're still going to hold the prizes for whoever wins them for a number of days, at least until the next show. You can just reach out to us, and we'll give you the information on where to reach out to us there. So you can collect your prize, and you just give us your email address, or we'll have your email address. We can just email you the code, and we can go from there. So that's pretty much it. But again, just have your submissions in by the 19th, which is next Saturday by 12 p.m. And the email address is thealliancegaming.com at Outlook. Sorry, thealliancegaming at Outlook.com. And just let me know what system you want it for, and we'll be picking some winners live on the show. It should be a lot of fun. But, for all of us here at the Alliance, me and Maurice, we appreciate you guys hanging out and staying with us. If you guys have any questions or you'd like to talk with us, come on over into the Discord. You can chat with us there anytime. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week on the next one, and may the force be with you guys. We'll see you guys then.